What up, YouTube? It's your boy, Detroit Love, with another video. Today, we're going to focus again on our Galaga Countercade. This is a complete mod from top to bottom, and today we're going to focus on the control panel. What I did, what you might want to do, so let's check it out. Unless you are only going to play games that move left and right like Galaga and Galaga 88, you want to upgrade this joystick. I mean, there's some games out there, Mappy, King and Balloon, Moon Krista, Radar Scope, Speak and Rescue, The End, Circus Charlie, Space Invaders. You know, you got a few games. If you're cool with that, then you don't have to upgrade this. But most of the fun games, the games that I like playing, Pac-Man, Donkey Kong, etc., those games are going to require at least 4-way, if not 8-way. And so upgrading the joystick is a no-brainer. And so this build has about 102 games on it. So why stick with just say 12 games with those left and right games when you can have 102 games? And so we got to get that thing updated. Now I went with the Sanwa JLF-TP-8YT original red joystick. Now keep in mind, it doesn't come with the cable that you need, but the encoder board, the zero display or zero delay encoder will come with the necessary plug. So not much to this to upgrade that, but you did need to do a few things. So let's just take a look at that. We'll take out our screws and just take a look at the control panel from the bottom. So this joystick, the only thing I had to do, really, this is the original joystick. You see it's just 2-way, so it just has this yellow and this green control, and that's all it had going to the encoder board or the PCB. Is with this upgraded joystick, I just replaced this plate. So as you can see in this lower corner, it doesn't have this normal corner or rectangle corner. It has like a clipped corner. So I just took off this plate here from the Sanwa joystick and put the original or stock plate on. It just screws on with 4 screws, you see there. And so the replacement joystick did the same. That way I can just insert that right in and didn't have to do anything special. So the joystick was the very first thing that needed to be replaced. That was my first goal. And the second goal was just keeping this plexi. I wanted to keep this plexi on here. If I got the drilling holes in here, then that would complicate whether this plexi would survive all that drilling being so small. And with my limited skills, I chose to just replace the joystick and just drill a little hole. So it's not much drilling that was required. Just had to increase that hole under here. Just made that a little bit bigger so that this joystick can go 8 ways. And as well as the plexi had to be drilled out just a little bit. And that's it. No more drilling was required. That's the case because I didn't want to add other buttons for coin buttons. I did not want to do that for a few reasons. one, it's just not a whole lot of space in here. You try to fit additional buttons in here for coin buttons, you're going to be hitting against the joystick or hitting against the buttons, hitting against the, you know, the battery that's in here, the speaker's taking up this space. So it's just very tight in here to begin with. So I elected to just simply update or upgrade or replace this one button. And even with this fire button, now here's the difference. That's arcade to me. I need to hear that sound. Now, I don't know about that spring sound, and a lot of people elect to replace that spring in the joystick and sometimes even the buttons. But I'm fine with that. But you see, that's a much longer button than the yellow button. This two stock button, those are fine for secondary buttons. But you can even see the way things are the button wires shaped. It's shaped that way because the speaker is in the way. The speaker reduces clearance inside of here, and so you can't really put a long button like this over here because that speaker will run to the way. And that speaker even comes into play with this longer one. It has to be like straight on. If it was turned a little bit, it would be rubbing against that joystick or against that speaker. So we upgraded the fire button. It's a red HAP style standard arcade push button. And so no extra holes are built in. We'll just use some programming to get these buttons to function as coin buttons. And also I wanted to be able to play, up to 3-button games. So in order to get 3-button games and not drill any more holes, I had to utilize these player 1 and player 2 buttons for dual roles. And let's just see, something that will require 2 buttons. I don't know offhand, but you have use of these 3 buttons for other games. Well, Gunsmoke's an example of a 3-button game. And this particular version of Gunsmoke has some issues. It's like it registers button pushes over and over and over, so it's kind of weird. So I have to find out what the heck is going on with that. But nevertheless, we'll get into programming in another episode. But these 3 buttons are utilized in the games as well as to start the game. The other aspect of the control panel that I want to utilize, I want to keep this thing stock, so I obviously want to use the volume control button. The volume control button allows you to increase the volume and decrease it with the stock button. Now, because this screen, it thinks it's landscape, the visual indicator is on the side, and if you're looking at the wrong color, you can be confused as to whether it's increasing or decreasing, though you will know because the button is accurate when it says minus is this way and the plus is this way. But if you look at the white bar is the proper indicator, not the black bar or clear bar. The white bar will get fuller as you get louder and smaller as the sound decreases. So you got use of your stock volume. The power button, you definitely wanted to utilize this power button for turning this thing on and off. So currently it's on, you hit the off button, it's going to go off. Now, this cabinet is battery operated. Okay, so you can take it anywhere. We flick the switch back on, on one flick, no back and forth. It's going to turn on the screen, turn on the backlit marquee, turn on the Pi, and everything is the way it should be with the stock on and off switch. All the stock buttons will work. Again, I elected to upgrade the fire button from this soft quiet. This is firm and clicky. But let's just take a look inside for a second. Now, originally I had the encoder board in one position, and I had to change it because, let's just talk about this. Let's start this game up for a second. So let's put a coin in, 1942. Now let's just watch the angle of this. See how I can go diagonally? That's because this is currently in an eight-way position. Okay, and so this game would play with a four-way. You just won't be able to move quite the same way. Okay, so I changed the position inside of here of that encoder board, and it initially screwed in, but I just went ahead and went with my super duper outdoor tape to secure it. So let's just take a look down there. So I moved the encoder board closer because you can see the encoder board there. I just secured that closer to the front of the cab so that you'll have some flexibility in pulling this control panel or lifting it up and changing it, because that was an 8-way. And so this Sanwa joystick, you have the ability to push these pegs in. It's 4 pegs, push them in, and then you can take this off. It takes a little getting used to, because it's like they open, but then they want to close back, so you have to be careful of that. That's final one. All right, so this just comes out, and if I just flip it, now I used to have the word up or PC on there, but I don't have that on this one for some reason. But if I just turn it around, I can push. See, this thing actually, the center actually pushes in, and you can turn these pegs. I'm turning. So right now, with 8-way, it's like a square gate. I push in. I just use this little tab and turn it counterclockwise, and now it's like a diamond. This diamond is going to restrict it to 4-way. Now I'm going to turn it back this way and just push it back in. Line up these little tabs. And pop it in. Okay, so that's how easy it is. So now if we go back into this game, 1944, you're gonna see that my movement is only 4-way now. I can't go diagonally. Now for a game like this, you know, you can play it. It's just gonna be a little unconventional for the actual game, but the game is playable. But some games you're gonna need that 8-way more than others, and the game is totally not playable without it. So having the ability to switch from 8-way to 4-way is essential. I didn't do a demo, but if I tried to play Pac-Man with that 8-way, it would be a lot more difficult to get those corners. Even Donkey Kong, to be able to jump up climb up that ladder, you will be missing it. So you want to position your encoder board in such a position that you can take these 2 screws out and be able to switch that when you need to without too much effort. And so having that accessible is key to placing your equipment inside, because you want to be able to switch that. Now, I want to go back to this power switch for a minute. With this particular build, when you install it, the off-on switch does not work. Now, let me show you what's required in order for that off-on switch to work, period. Talking about the controls. If I open this up, so inside you see this red cable. This red cable is part of the controller board that's up here, the video board. The video board also has this switch here, or this cable here, is for your volume control and your on and off switch. When you first install it and put the button masher image on, the power switch is only going to turn off the monitor. This extra red cable goes over here into pins 5 and 6 on your Raspberry Pi, will allow you to program the Pi to turn off the power. Then it'll turn off the power to both the Pi and the video board. So this cable gets connected for the volume and power. This red cable that you see is on the power side here goes to your Pi to allow you to program it. And then this other button here is for your volume. This goes to your speaker. So this is the volume switch, but then this cable here actually goes to the speaker so that you can control the sound. Right out the gate, you will not be able to turn the power off. But in the description, I have a video that I did previously that will allow you to have this switch work properly. When it's on, it's on, and when it's off, it's off. There's other videos out there that will share some code that you can put into a file, and they'll make it work, but it makes it work the opposite, where off is on and on is off, and you gotta flick back to one direction, back the other way. If you want your battery to work exactly as it should, off being off and on being on, you want to take a look at my video in the description and take care of that. There's some few steps you have to do, about 10 steps or so. Once you do that, the button's going to function as it should. And so that's just a real quick look at the control panel for the modified Arcade1Up Galaga Countercade. I appreciate you watching, guys. Please like the video. Please comment below. What are your plans? What do you like about this? Anything you want to ask a question, please do that. Please subscribe if you hadn't, so you can be aware of the next video. The next video is going to get into the programming of it. How do you program these buttons so that these 3 stock buttons do what you want them to do? How do you get the lock it down so people aren't being able to change things? How do you get these like launch screens to come up when you open up a game to tell you which buttons are used in that particular game? So stay tuned, subscribe so you can be aware of that. And until next time, guys, I'll see you on the web.